So I just got out of yet another meeting where we were trying to decide whether or not we should allow ex-culture students to use AI, basically to use ChatGPT. We had several of those meetings last summer at conferences, at times with dozens of professors participating. We had some online discussions, and we just had another one. And the opinions range from one extreme, ban the use of AI altogether, to another extreme, not only allow, but make the use of AI mandatory. So some professors believe that using ChatGPT is cheating. It should be banned. Students should sign some form of a promissory note saying that I will not use ChatGPT, or this work has been written without the use of ChatGPT or other generative AI. And the logic here is clear. So those professors see the use of AI, one, as basically cheating, as a form of plagiarism, or as some people call it now, AI-giarism. And they also believe that allowing students to use ChatGPT or generative AI sort of deprives the students of the need to create, to do work, to write homework assignments on their own. And so therefore they will grow up without knowing how to compose a document or write a report. And then to that end, we actually tested probably about 20 or so different tools that promised to catch AI-generated content. In fact, now even Turnitin has the function where it sort of estimates the probability that the text was written by AI, similar to the similarity index used to estimate the probability of plagiarism in the document, and then all kinds of other bigger, smaller tools. And so we tested a bunch of documents with those tools and came to the conclusion that they are very unreliable. So we've had all of them. We've had multiple instances when documents written by humans were labeled as probably written by AI, and the other way around. And then obviously, as AI is evolving, even if there were a tool that at some point could reliably detect AI-generated content, no guarantee that a few weeks later it will not work. Sorry about that. So you cannot police it, you cannot ban it, you cannot detect it. So that's a problem, even though many professors believe that this is the way to go. On the other extreme are professors, and I will be honest, I'm one of them, who believe that if you cannot police it, if you cannot ban the use of AI, if you know that some students will still use it, it will be, one, fair to everyone if everyone uses it. Moreover, it is a useful tool, and maybe we should teach students how to use it. So the logic here is that not only we should allow the use of AI, but we should make it mandatory. So part of the task should be that students need to use AI to get ideas and input from AI, and then assess it, maybe even provide it in the report. Like, for example, what is the best new market for your client? Well, tell us what you think. Then ask AI and tell us what AI thinks. Now compare your answer to that of AI, and then decide on the final conclusion or recommendation based on that comparison. So this way it will not be cheating, because it will be still the student's final decision, but it will be a decision made with, after considering all of the possible options, including those recommended by AI. Anyway, we did not come to a conclusion. So we have a collection now of AI use policies from 84 universities as of today. And to be honest, all of them are very vague. All of them are talking about sort of use it, but use it responsibly, but none of them either bans or promotes it explicitly. And so we cannot really rely much on those examples. And we have not really decided also, because the technology is developing so quickly that it's almost impossible to make any conclusions at this time. And so the meeting we had today was a little bit different. So that's for a study where we actually are trying to use AI for feedback. So not for generating content per se, but for providing feedback on content. And again, so we were thinking, should students be allowed to consult AI? Should we use AI to provide feedback to students? Or one of the options, should we maybe teach students how to get feedback from AI and require that they do it, or at least promote and encourage them to get feedback from AI? And so here it would be not replace your brain with AI, but rather write your report, then use these tools or these prompts to get feedback on your work, and then decide if you want to use that feedback or not. Like, for example, if AI finds a typo in your writing in a word, obviously take it, correct the error. If AI finds your argument maybe bad or not sufficiently substantiated, critically evaluate that feedback. Maybe AI just didn't understand what you wrote, or maybe it is a legitimate criticism. So critically take that feedback as you would from a human. Not all feedback provided by humans is good, but it could be something useful, and so it could be something helpful, and use that feedback to improve your work. So will that be cheating? Will that be unfair advantage? I don't know. But we're kind of discussing this. It's a tough question. So what I would say here is that it reminds me of the time when I was growing up. So first, like in early school years, we would have calligraphy, and so we would write by hand. And then I remember at some time the computers came about, so like early 90s. And so we were not allowed to type up our, like term projects. We had to write them by hand, because I believe the teachers at that time thought that if they allow us to use typewriters or computers, we will forget how to write by hand, which at that time apparently was considered an important and essential skill, and something that should be taught in the education system. Then at some point computers became so prevalent, that so ubiquitous, that it was allowed to use computers. I remember when I started submitting my term projects in the university, we were sort of allowed to use computers if we wanted to, but it was still okay, and maybe even preferred to write them by hand. And then obviously at some point computers became basically the mainstream, and so you no longer can even submit your work. I don't think you can submit your thesis handwritten now. It needs to be typed up on the computer. So same thing with calculators. So first we were taught how to multiply in our heads. Then we would maybe, so first we would not be allowed to use calculators in math classes at all. Then we would maybe be allowed to use them, maybe even on the exam, but with some restrictions, like like simple calculators, but not scientific calculators, all the way to where now it's required. You must use a scientific calculator in your calculus classes, for example, or if you take statistics. I imagine at some point students would need to calculate the correlation coefficient by hand, then maybe assisted with the computer, and now obviously you must learn how to use Stata, SPSS, R, whatever software you use. I kind of suspect that that's what we'll see with AI. So first we try to ban it, then we say, okay, well, we can't ban it, so you can use it, but use it responsibly. And soon enough we'll see a requirement to use AI. Maybe even use the latest version. Don't use the cheap free version. Use the one that has the full functionality, and maybe even submit the log of your prompts and commands. I want to see what you did. Oh, this prompt is good and this one was not optimal, so you get a B- because you didn't use AI correctly or to the fullest extent. So I don't know, but I'm kind of leaning towards the option that we should require that our students use AI. It's an extremely powerful tool. It can obviously be misused, just like Google could be misused, or Wikipedia could be misused. But if used correctly, or if used in a smart way, it's a tool that makes you more productive, that improves quality of your work. Anyway, we have not come to a conclusion yet how we're going to manage it at Xculture, but it seems to me that if you cannot ban it, if you cannot sort of make everyone equal in not being able to use AI, and knowing that some will use it no matter what you do, you might as well equalize the field, level the playing field by allowing and encouraging and teaching everyone how to use it so that everyone is equally pulled up as opposed to equally pulled down. So I don't know, I'm curious what your thoughts on this and what your policies are in your courses and at your university, and what recommendations you would give the X-Culture professors in terms of how we should implement the AI use sort of rules and policies. Thank you.